back with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. So I went out to the gig last night, and it was a gig. It was what it was. It could be a good gig, but it definitely wasn't a good gig. They just let the Indian crowds in there run amok. They did not give a fuck. They were just walking around, getting up, going for darts. Some bitch was on her phone half the time, and no one said anything. None of the comedians said anything. Like it was normal for some bitch with acrylic nails to be talking through the whole show on her fucking phone. And then the other thing was, it was a paid show, so there were people there who paid to watch the show, but it was in an area of this bar type thing. It wasn't fully a bar. There was a stage and all that, a proper built stage. But it was in an area where people were just coming upstairs for free and going out on the balcony to have a few darts. It was a little bit of fucking chaos, but it was good to watch a couple of comedians do well in fucking Hindi, so I didn't understand a fucking word they were saying. And it was good to see a few comedians eat shit in English. And I understood every single word of that, and they deserved to eat shit. But it was good hanging out with comedians again. There was a few guys I knew from last year. One of the comedians, he's actually a writer, and then he started comedy like, I don't know how long ago, 3 or 4 years ago. Anyway, last year he was the head writer of a TV show, and it was going pretty good. But this year, it fucking exploded, and it was the #1 TV show in India on all platforms. It's called The Family Man, and he's the fucking head writer. So he's had a pretty good fucking time of it. I was speaking to a couple of the other comics I met last year, and it hasn't been as good for them. It has not been as good for them. They've been battling. And apparently, this is probably the best show going on in Bangalore right now. This fucking nightmare of a show is the best show going on. It looks like I'm going to have to start taking some fucking initiative and putting on my own fucking shows, which I did not want to do. I just want to be the talent. I don't want to have to pretend other comics are funny. I want to walk into a comedy club like I'm a god, like whispers going around. That sort of shit. But you can't do that without doing shows, can ya? And there's no shows on here. What I'm going to have to do is start fucking putting on my own shows. Jesus Christ, I did not want to do that. I spent the first 3 or 4 years of my career doing that. Career! That is a funny fucking word to call what I've had in comedy. A career. It's more like a drinking problem or a fucking mental illness. The first 10 years of my despair. My utter fucking despair. That's what I should call my career. My despair. My despair. I put on shows with the great, the gay, the dork, King Dork himself, John Dorr, and my man, Miles Milson. I haven't spoken about Miles Milson enough, but he was the funniest fucking comic when we started, and now he is an absolute fucking drinking machine. But he posted a little bit of stand-up on his Instagram the other day, and the man still has the spark. He's probably done 8 or 9 gigs in the past 6 years, but there's glimpses of that magic still. I'm going to do one of my Patreon podcasts with him too, because he really, over the last 5 or 6 years, has taken to the booze like a fucking professional. He was living in a backpackers not long ago. Now I don't know where he is. But he was, when we all started out, by far, without even a competition, the funniest of us. But yeah, me, John Dorr, and Miles Milson used to put shows on for ourselves in the early days. None of us had even 10 minutes of good material, but we were doing half an hour each, and we had 8 gigs going. We'd go into a bar, and we would promise them the world. We'd say we'd pack it out, and then we would do nothing until the day of the gig, and then John Dorr would run around the bar and try and get people who were already in the pub to come upstairs or wherever the fuck it was and come and watch us do stand-up. And then after that, they would kick us out, didn't want anything to do with us. It was a fucking nightmare. I'm also going to do a Patreon podcast with John Dorr talking about those early days because they were fucking brutal. And I haven't really spoken much about those early days in stand-up, but it was John Doerr, Miles Milson, Mark Oshka, even Thomas McMahon, who's living in a fucking gutted-out bus somewhere in Tasmania. All the guys I started comedy with are just hanging in there. I'm not talking about comedy, I'm talking about life. They're just hanging on to life. But yeah, it looks like I'm going to have to go back to the future and start putting on my fucking own shows again. The good thing is here, if you can sell tickets, you can hire someone to take care of like the promotion and organize all the shit for like, I don't know, $200 a month. I'm also in these groups, these fucking Facebook groups and WhatsApp groups, the expats in India groups, and I reckon I could fucking sting a few bucks out of these cunts. Hopefully they don't listen to this, but I'm getting your fucking money, you German cunts. But yeah, that fucking expat shit could be a good fucking resource. I'm gonna have to fucking build a following here, which might be a little bit difficult when all I ever do is trash the fuck out of India and its people, with good reason, because they're fucked. And it's fucked. But they know that as well, so they should see the truth in the humor. There's no comedy clubs here at the moment either. The population and the population density here is the same or more than like New York, London, all these places where there's fucking comedy clubs everywhere. And there's not one comedy club in Bangalore. It's a pretty fucking open market, actually. If you could get something going, you could really fucking make some money. I don't want to do that. I just want somewhere where I can go up and fucking do some stand-up. I'm going to have to start using my whiteness. Sell some tickets with my whiteness. Because people have fucking money here. The fucking middle class, upper middle class, and the fucking rich have serious fucking money. All of them do. They have fucking treasure troves of gold. They have property fucking everywhere. They have black money stolen from poor people in their wardrobes. They've got fucking heaps. They can dish out a little bit of coin to come see Le Boyle live. But just even being at the gig last night, I was like, all right. I came up with like maybe 2 or 3 minutes of material that will probably work. I've got 15 minutes of Indian material I already have. I just need to get in front of some crowds. There's some open mics next week, but the boys were saying there's like 2 or 3 people in the audience. But beggars can't be choosers, can they? So I'm going to have to go down sometime next week, Wednesday, Thursday or something, do a couple of gigs, and then slide on to this Saturday gig. You should be able to make some fucking money doing stand-up in India. There's enough people, there's enough expats. I'm the only white guy in India doing comedy at the moment. They're not going to see an international act, especially of my caliber, for a long time. So they better fucking get on board. I'm going to be eating shit for a little while. It has been 5 months again, and I didn't do that much comedy last year either. Anyway, I got to go out. I got to go for dinner, and they're all fucking waiting for me. And I'm sitting here with my shirt off, scratching my nuts, talking about my fake career. Anyway, that's it for tonight, and I'll see ya the fuck later.